Today I will be doing a toy spot on DC Superheroes Batman. If you watched my last two sets of reviews, I had already covered the first wave, consisting of Batman, Bane, Killer Croc, and Scarecrow. The second wave consisted of Superman, Supergirl, there was Bizarro, and there was Doomsday. I didn't cover Bizarro, as I pointed out during my review. The only reason why, and again, I've already said this, is because I didn't actually have the Bizarro. I sold him because he gets re-released later on. Having now said that, what we'll be reviewing is Series 3, or Wave 3 of DC Superheroes. Now, they've alternated back and forth between Superman and Batman for at least the initial Superheroes waves. Because we just covered Batman, or let me correct that, just because we've just covered Superman, they've now gone back to the Batman series. So if we have a look on the packaging, now they didn't actually give us comic books with this. I don't know if you guys can see it. What they've actually given us instead is now backdrops. If you ask me, very boring, very bland backdrops. It consisted of a city scene with like an explosion kind of splash scene, and then the characters would stand in front of that. Very bland. Ages 4 and up. On the back, the other characters in the wave, we have Azrael, who would later become Batman and take the role when Bruce Wayne's back gets broken by Bane. We have Batman, which I will be reviewing here. We have Mr. Freeze, and we have Robin. I have all of these characters except for the Robin. I originally had Robin, but I ended up selling him. I don't really know why I sold him. I originally had him, and I knew that DC Universe was coming out with a Robin, and I really liked the look of the Robin, and I ended up selling this guy. I don't know why. But yeah, there we go. There's the packaging on Batman. Before I actually open this guy up, and what I really wanted to do when I did the review of Superman was I wanted to cover the other releases of this character. So initially we get Batman in Wave 3. I'll move this guy aside here. If I reach around, and I didn't have this readily available with me here, but Batman also got re-released in a 2-pack with a Batgirl. This was the only Batgirl, or this was the only way that you could get Batgirl, was to purchase this 2-pack. They've now since released Batgirl with Azrael as part of the DC Universe 2-pack waves, but this was, at the time, this was the only way you could get her. So even though I already had Batman, I did end up picking him up yet again. You will notice, however, and you won't really notice yet because I haven't moved this out of the way, but if I can get these guys in shot here, you'll notice, I don't know if, can you see that? There is a little more shading that was added to this Batman, at least in the mask cowl area. The outfits are the exact same, right down to the, which I don't like the bat symbol on his buckle here, but you'll notice that this Batman is a little lighter. My light seems to be reflecting too much here, but you'll see that his cowl is a little lighter in color. He's only got a shade around the eyes, versus this one here has shade all over the face. Having said that, and I'll put these guys down here, Batman was released yet again in the more updated release versions of DC Superheroes. This, if I'm not mistaken, is Wave 5. I think it was Wave 5 because it did another Superman after this wave. So yeah, this would have been Wave 5. If you ask me, I prefer this Batman. Even though it's the exact same mold as these guys, I much prefer the coloring on this Batman. The black, I think, really shows well on this figure. Now, one thing you'll also notice is they got rid of that horrible bat symbol on the belt buckle area. You'll notice it's on these characters, but not on this one. So I do actually, I'm looking forward to getting this guy open. I will open this one because I do actually want him on display, but I won't review him just yet because he is not yet in the wave. So having now looked at the releases, what we're going to do is we're going to open up Batman here, and we'll get a closer look at the figure itself. You can really appreciate this figure now that he's out of the packaging. As nice as he did look in the package, I think now that he's actually out on display, you really you can really see all the little details and stuff that they put in this figure. Granted, this figure is a little older, I mean, versus what we get now in the DC Universe figures, but I would say nonetheless it is a nicely sculpted figure. You get a nice detailing on the face and the eyes. They've got like all the additional shading going on around the eyes here. And we've got the bat symbol. I'm happy to see that they put the original bat symbol in and not the yellow symbol with the black bat. As much as I like that, I do like this symbol a lot better. And then there we have the unfortunate utility belt. I don't know why they threw that bat symbol there, but a lot of detailing. I mean, you guys can make it out all right there. And nicely sculpted cape too. They've given him a long cape similar to what they gave Superman, and it's that rubber plastic. The one thing I always hate about these figures is when you take them out of the packaging, the blister card that they sit in, the cape usually is pinched and then it's put through a hole so the figure can sit flush. When you take the figure out, you have to kind of hold the cape and then pull it out of this slot. If anybody who has purchased a caped figure, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But nice detailing on the boots and everything else. I mean, it's not just a solid blue. They've actually put detailing and shade in the boots as well, and also in the treads. And there's also a little bat symbol there as well. Interesting touch there. In the way of articulation, sadly I've used up a lot of time talking about the packaging, but in articulation he has free range in his head. There's a ball bearing in his ball joint in his shoulder, articulation in the elbow, a little bit in the wrist, nothing in the hand though. There's articulation in the torso, in the waist, and then you've got the split-legged articulation in the thigh and also in the knee, also in the foot. Sadly, he does come with some accessories, and I do say sadly because I'll explain why. And I'll get him to stand first. There we go. He's gonna stand. There we go. Stay. If I pan down here, what you'll see is a plethora of different utility belt batarangs, ranging in size and shape. And I have to really rush this video along, so I do apologize. But really nice series of batarangs. The downside, though, is if you look at his hand, the only slot I can make out is this little tiny groove here, and it doesn't fit all the batarangs. You really have to kind of ram it in there. But that's all you get out of this figure, is the fact that he holds his batarang, but he doesn't hold it all that well because they didn't actually put holes in his hands. So I mean, that's a bit of a downside to me, a bit of a disappointment. All in all, I really like the figure. It's just a shame that they didn't give him holes in the hands, because I mean, holding his utility belt or holding his batarang seems to be a bit of a problem. But all in all, it is a really nice figure. It is definitely a step up from the first wave Batman. I would definitely say pick it up if you can find him. There you have a toy spot on the DC Superheroes Wave 3 Batman. And with that, I'll see you guys next time.